today's edition of the Mouse Bites. Now, the Mouse Bites are your latest Walt Disney World, Disneyland, Disney Cruise Line, and Universal Orlando news. Now, of course, I have huge news today, and that is that the Walt Disney World Resort has officially proposed dates for reopening the resort overall, the theme parks. So let's break it down for you so that you know exactly what is going on and when you could potentially visit the Walt Disney World Resort again. Yay! Okay, so after the lengthy closure due to coronavirus, there is going to be a phased reopening. So what that means is that some of the parks are going to open on one date, and then some of the parks are going to open on another. So there's not that big of a gap in between the reopening dates. I kind of thought originally that there would be, but it looks like they're going to reopen within a few days of each other, actually. So the first parks that are going to open are going to be the Magic Kingdom and Disney's Animal Kingdom. Now, those are going to reopen to guests on July 11th. Then on July 15th, Epcot and Disney's Hollywood Studios are going to open and be available to guests. Now, according to a report that was given to the Orange County Economic Task Force, there are going to be a number of things that guests and cast members are going to need to adhere to in order to enter the parks as well as visit the parks. So here is what we know so far. Of course, all of this is subject to change, so just keep that in mind. But as of right now, this is kind of what we are looking at. So attendance at first is going to be very limited. Now, to make sure that this occurs, the parks are going to require that guests sign up for a reservation in advance for the day or days that they would like to visit the parks. Now, as of right now, Disney has not shared how that reservation system is going to work. However, they did share that information will be released at a later date. Now, make sure you're following along with Mouse for Less. We will have all of that news for you on themouseforless.com. So that way, when it comes out, you'll know what you'll need to do in order to potentially visit the parks and make your reservation. Now, there's also going to be enhanced protective measures that are going to be put in place. These are going to include things like implementing face coverings, which are going to be required. They're also going to put an emphasis on hand washing, and there will be sanitation stations available for guests throughout the parks. Finally, there will be physical barriers where appropriate. So this means things like plexiglass barriers are going to be put in place at retail and restaurant locations, like quick service locations, where social distancing cannot be maintained. Now, there's going to be physical distancing and capacity limits in place as well. Now, the capacity limits aren't just going to be limited to the theme parks overall. It's also going to be inside the restaurants, inside the shops, attractions, buses, monorails, and other transportation modes. In addition, to help limit capacity, unfortunately, parades, fireworks, and other events that create crowds are going to be suspended for the time being. So no parades, no fireworks, no probably big stage shows, that kind of thing are going to be taking place on the Castle forecourt stage. So just keep that in mind. Now, there is going to be an enhanced emphasis on both cleaning on stage and backstage at high-touch locations. Guests and cast members are going to need to have their temperature taken via contactless handheld devices. Now, contact between guests and cast members are going to be limited. So these are going to include putting emphasis on things like mobile ordering. So if you've never mobile ordered your dining, we have a great handy guide for you on the Mouse for Less that can help kind of walk you through mobile ordering. It's a great tool. I love using it, although this makes me a little sad. This means that, unfortunately, more people are going to learn about mobile ordering, which means that it's going to get busier when mobile ordering, isn't necessary as a thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not like the only way of ordering food. So, boo. Anyway, there's also going to be a pause on meet and greets with characters. Now, Disney didn't say whether or not guests won't be able to meet characters at all, or they're going to be doing something like some of the other theme parks are doing, where you stand in one place, the characters stand kind of behind you, and you can take a selfie that way. They didn't specify if that'll happen, but they did say that as of right now, meet and greets are going to be suspended. Play areas are also going to not be allowed to be utilized in the parks. So like those water splash pads that guests can find like at Epcot, things like that. I suspect also probably some of the touch walls and the queues, things like that. I'm thinking of the Winnie the Pooh queue right now. So that icky touch wall, probably not going to be able to use that anymore, at least for the time being. Also, contactless payments are going to be strongly suggested. So, of course, guests are going to be heavily suggested to use their magic bands. Things like Apple Pay, that kind of thing, are going to also be heavily suggested that people use. Now, as guests get ready to head into the parks, there will be know before you go messages that are going to be provided to make guests aware of these new safety protocols. Again, we'll have those available for you on the Mouse for Less so you can kind of see those. There will also be cast members on hand to regularly communicate these new protocols, and they're going to be called the Social Distancing Squad. Now, their goal is to inspire guests to follow guidelines, and finally, there will be signage found throughout the park reinforcing the messages. Now, this plan, while approved by the task force, has not yet officially been approved by the mayor or the governor of Florida. Now, the Walt Disney World Resort officially closed on March 16th to all guests. Now, along with that news, there was news that came out that the Disney Vacation Club resort hotels are going to open at the Walt Disney World Resort beginning in June. Now, due to the fact that parks will see reduced capacity when they officially let guests return, the Walt Disney Resort is currently temporarily pausing new Walt Disney World Resort hotel reservations so that they can focus on those guests who currently have tickets and reservations. So unfortunately, you're not going to be able to make a reservation right now for that July 11th time period. If you don't have a reservation already, you're not going to be able to head to the parks. Also, if you don't have tickets already, it looks like you're not going to be able to head to the parks right now either. So just keep that in mind. However, I'm guessing if you have a reservation already booked and you haven't bought tickets yet, they might be able to work with you. Again, that's conjecture on my part, but I'm assuming that that's probably going to be the case. So, with that being said, the Walt Disney World Resort will open Disney Vacation Club resorts on June 22nd. In addition, Disney's Fort Wilderness Resort and Campgrounds will also reopen on June 22nd. Now, the Walt Disney World Resort hotels overall are going to reopen on July 11th. Now, to keep guests as safe as possible, plans are going to be put in place to support physical distancing, as well as there will be enhanced cleaning measures along with other safety and cleanliness protocols that are going to be implemented. In addition, keep in mind that cast members and guests who are 3 years of age or older are going to be required to wear appropriate face coverings in the common areas of the hotels. So just kind of keep that in mind as well. Now, additional information on enhanced health and safety measures and operational changes for the reopening of these locations are going to be shared soon. We'll make sure to share those with you on the Mouse for Less. And keep in mind that these policies are subject to change as conditions are monitored and updated according to health and government authority guidance. So that is going to do it for all the news that I have for you today. I'm sure you have comments. Make sure you leave those below. We are going to love to hear what you have to say about this. Also, want to thank the sponsor, the Magic for Less Travel. So if you are looking for a free, no obligation quote for your Walt Disney World, Disneyland, Disney Cruise Line, or Universal Orlando vacation, head to themagicforless.com and they will be able to help you out and book your vacation. So also make sure you're following along with the Mouse for Less on all of our social sites. So you've got Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Pinterest. We're sharing lots of great content. Matter of fact, we were just at Disney Springs yesterday, and we shared a great video of the stormtroopers who were patrolling the springs to make sure the guests were practicing that social distancing, physical distancing kind of guidelines there. So go check that out if you haven't seen it. It's on our social. But anyway, that's going to do it for today's edition of the Mouse Bites. We'll see you all next time. Have a great day, everyone.